Hello guys. We have heard a lot about the recent new education policy of 2020 that's being implemented, and I'm just introducing some of the highlights. It's like the STEM, in a nutshell. I'd like to familiarize you with the key features and what's going to be changed, what's coming in place, and how it's going to be restructured in one sense, the schooling and then college and university education. It's like all you need to know. Although the government has launched and is trying to implement this, if it is implemented in letter and spirit, that's highly unlikely given the ambitious program and the kind of envisioning of 21st century education within the paucity of the resources and the present dismal scenario that's prevailing in most of the schools, and especially in primary and government schools, and why most of the state primary education is in a mess. To begin with, they're going to start schooling from the age of 3, and the new system will have 12 years of schooling with 3 years of preschooling. I mean, it's like nursery, if we prefer to call it. So it's going to be like 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. This is going to be the education structure, and the new system will cover 4 stages: foundational 3 years, then followed by preschool, then we have preparatory stages, middle stages, and second stages. So the bigger outcome of this new policy is like there won't be any well delineated rigid boundaries between the 3 streams, science and arts and commerce. So one could easily switch over from one to the other without the hassles of going through showing the linguistic competence or the subject competence as used to be the norm. So students will be at liberty to opt subjects across the streams without much of the in-depth knowledge of any of the stream subjects. So that means the doors are open wide for everyone. And there are 2 levels of proficiency. There's a major shift is like internships and vocational education from class 6. So they're trying to inculcate vocational education right at the inception. To begin with, it's too early to think of a trade and vocation grade 6 onwards, but they would be trained in certain kinds of skills, basic skills, and they will prepare them for their career options in the future. So that means the vocational education will start in schools itself, and there would be informal internship. I mean, like kind of training sessions or kind of apprenticeship to start at the school level itself. And the board exams, unlike previously, won't have high stakes, and the grades won't be the only considering factors in getting into the colleges and the higher educations. So the grades will be mostly on the holistic and overall development of the child, and the core competencies and capabilities will be focused, and students will be allowed to take board exams on up to 2 occasions during any given school year. That means it's not so hard and fast, and we're going to have an internal assessment, maybe formal, informal, formative, or summative, one main examination, one for improvement. So if you're not satisfied with the kind of result that you're hoping to achieve, you will be given a chance to improve upon your past performance. And students will take school examination class 3, 5 and 8, which will be conducted by appropriate authority. I remember in my olden times, I used to, I clearly remember that there used to be a 7th grade as a board exam, and there was also like 9th grade in the board exam. So to me, it doesn't sound to be quite bizarre or kind of revolutionary in its, because it has been in the implementation even earlier. Another key policy is undergraduate degrees of either 3 or 4 year duration is going to be midterm drop, so will be given credit with options to complete degree after a break. So it's not going to be so mandatory in the sense that you could get more time frame for completing your degree. Supposedly, if something goes wrong and midterm dropouts, they don't want more and more students to drop out of the education system. Basically, literacy means that the dropout rates should be contained over the years. So the government is aiming for, by 2035, the enrollment grows by 50%. That means only 50% of the children may be kept away from, they keep away from the schools by choice, by compulsions. It's not that. So despite having the provisions of education as almost a fundamental right, we still have larger percentage of dropouts in schools, and that's why we have lots and lots of, illiteracy rate is not being removed statewide. Some states are doing fine, but other states are lagging behind. So the aiming for a gross enrollment ratio by 50% is going to be really challenging and insurmountable, given the kind of disenchantment and disenfranchisement and the kind of proper primary schools that's in the shambles. In the colleges, we'll have like SAT-like exams where we'll have proficiency, then aptitude tests, and testing agencies will have entrance exam twice a year. Another major shift is college capitation fee, and it's likely that fee will be fixed in a regulatory framework. That means no extra fee will be charged beyond the cap. The government will bring about a ceiling, a kind of restrictive amount that won't exceed in any eventuality. So it's like the other forms of where we have a cap, and there can't be any further raise whimsically by the institutions themselves. So in the higher education field, MPhil is to be discontinued, no more MPhil. And all courses at UG, PG, PhD level to be interdisciplinary. That means there will be a switchover. It's going to be a mix. There won't be any stream per se, and there will be a mixture of all the streams. Like the students at the primary level itself, they'll be given a choice to go for any kind of stream. And it will be up to them to make or mar of the prospects of the efficiency or proficiency in particular stream. So in one sense, it's going to open the door, open the opportunities for most of those children. They, for the lack of their proficiency in a particular stream, they are left behind. Like science stream, many of the students would love to go for science streams, but given their poor performance in rating or grading, where most of the colleges, they don't allow admissions on the basis of the poor ranking in them. So that bar is going to be eliminated, it seems like. Although there have been many policies earlier also, and In fact, most of these policies, I mean, it's a long-awaited policy, and it has been almost, I mean, it's around a decade or so when we have a shift in the policy. But the crux of the issue is that how far is going to be implemented, and NEP, although may sound to be revolution in the sense that it's going to prepare the children for 21st century skills, the digital platform digitize, and whether we'll be able to bring about that kind of AI, I mean artificial intelligence driven education system where we'll have mostly high tech and gadgets or robotics and a kind of so these policies, in fact, we have seen in the past that the evolution of these public policies, they always go by predictions, and most of the things go wrong ultimately over the years because of the paucity of resources, because of the change in the and policies even evolve with the time. The skills we are needed now may not be needed in the future, and maybe there will be alterations and the far-reaching changes in the psychoanalytical or cognitive behavioral human and there will be more advanced classroom scenarios where struggling nations with under-resourced classrooms and traditional teachers with old technologies may not find it really worth coping with the policy changes. So it's not the government policy alone that's going to help us really bring about revolutionary welcome changes in fact it's going to be how far the government will be able to implement in the letter and spirit of these because it's long overdue, and obviously we cannot go by the policies that have been in the office for almost 30 to every 20 to 30 years we have the policy changes, and it's like we haven't been able to really make that headway that is intended for bring about the major shift. And it's like a continental shift in the way we teach, in the way we study, in the way we look forward to and do the research and developmental projects with kind of IT and kind of curriculum and assessment changes, obviously in order to keep pace with the rest of the world, because this new policy also invites world-class institutions for investment in India, and they are being offered to open up their own institutions, and that may be at par with, our institutions will be competing with them, like IITs and like JNU and the premier institutions and universities have to compete with them. And once again, it is going to be corporatocracy, and some of the big corporate houses will enter into the fray, and probably our own systematic system may not work that efficiently, and we may be again hijacked, or there will be even education system will be go out of welfare schemes of the government, as we have seen the other areas and where these conglomerates and big business houses, they have taken a toll on the welfare institutions, and it has really affected in the worst sense. They may not, they may sound to be very attractive to begin with. We'll have more choices, the faculty will have good campuses, we'll have inter-institutional orientation programs, we will have exchange programs. Our students will go abroad and they will come here and learn, and it's good to promote our cultural, social and legacies, India's as a Vishwaguru and all that. It sounds quite attractive, but whether this policy will have the real teeth, the real say, and moreover the stakeholders is too many. It's not the government policy alone. Our lots of deliberations by all the stakeholders in the society, probably in education as policy framers, teachers, parents, and learners, and there have been it has been going on, and it's a well crafted and very comprehensive treatise. It's a kind of treatise of our policy making, and let's hope that is bring about really welcoming change in our hackneyed and age-old education policy system, where we are still lagging behind. We are not coping up. I mean, we are aping the ways of the Muller listed 5 aspects of complex public policy. I mean, when it comes to implementation of these policies, it's going to take a toll on not only the resources, but also some of the thinkers, education thinkers of the future. So my best wishes to this ambitious program, and since I'm also associated with this education field, and I have seen the ups and downs and kind of educational revolutions in the past, and how we have moved from multidisciplinary, multilinguistic, and this NEP also lays a lot of emphasis on the mother tongue inclusion and regional languages promotion, and most of the exams to be held in your own native languages. That would really promote the L1 and acquisitions, and the importance of studying through not just the imposed education system of the yesteryears from the Britishers, and we're still we're still following in the footsteps of them, and we are in fact we have to come out this hackneyed and dilapidated educational norms and systems, and the point system, whether it's curriculum assessment, whether it's teachers development, whether it's professional development or whether it's the aptitudinal or aptitude test of the learners. That's why India has been doing fantastic job in producing the largest number of technocrats and all IT professions, and they're ruling all over the world. They have brought good names, but the thing is that they don't stay back in our own country, because our country, they do not support their overall career growth, and they're lured by the successes and greener pastures in the West. Most of those guys who are really top brains, and there is a big brain drain issue in India, and I have been witnessing that most of the major corporate houses, they would prefer to clinch those geniuses or those best minds, and they not only nurture them, but they also they patent them for the rest of their lives, and they never come back to India and they contribute to the best of their abilities. Maybe the best doctors, the best engineers, the best IT performers. And so the need of the hour is that our education system, our career growth and our opportunity should be so immense and so tempting and so promising that Indians should think twice before migrating forever, and they must contribute to the barest minimum at least before, because our country, it prepares us for the eventual productive skills that we come up with. It nurtures right from the beginning, from primary to the university level, and then we simply say goodbye to our own nations, and we contribute, but in a different to a different community, a different scenario, a different nation. So our nation needs those top brains and top think tanks. And so my best wishes to this education policy, which is revolutionary and which is well delineated which well thought, which lots and lots of far-reaching changes aiming at removing all those which has kept our education system outdated or may not be so advanced with, neck to, so that we can move neck to neck with the rest of the world. So let's hope that these policies go a long way in helping out not only the top achievers, but also bring out prospects for all those who are seeking education, not as a career goal alone, but also as a the powerhouse of the assets, the assets of our nations. Best of luck, and with this, I'm really proud of having this far-reaching, the Indian government envisaged some kind of something that may not be today, but ultimately we're going to bring a bumper dividends in the form of top class world scholars and top class bureaucrats and world class technocrats and all those literatarians and authors, and I mean every walks of life. India should really be looking forward to leading the world as Vishwaguru. I mean the world leader in even the education field like others.